Rohit Chaudhry, I will understand criticism that came by way of Jairam Ramesh, where he is saying that despite Pahalgam, India has not managed to isolate Pakistan globally, and a rogue state like Pakistan is playing mediator between the US and Iran in the Middle East. I will take that as a criticism. But yesterday, for the Congress president to call the Prime Minister a terrorist, and then today, a string of your leaders saying that, Congress, the BJP uses terror for votes. We often wonder why these terror attacks happen only during the BJP regime. What exactly is the Congress trying to gain here with this narrative?
First of all, I would like to pay my homage to all the people, those who have lost their lives in Pahalgam. Today is their death anniversary. First of all, I would like to suggest few things, that whenever there is an action, there is always a political objective and military objective. This incident had taken place. First of all, I'll come to the Pahalgam incident. This incident took place and it was a huge intelligence and security failure.
Okay.
And few days before this incident happened, Narendra Modi ji was supposed to go and visit Kashmir on 17th April. His visit was postponed because of citing the reasons of security issues. And 6th to 8th of April, Home Minister carried out a review of security in J&K, and they found out that everything is tiki-tiki-boo, everything is all right. It was not. It happened. It proved on 22nd of April that we lost so many lives. And for 45-50 minutes, the massacre kept on happening, and there was not even a single security personnel over there.
Okay.
It never happens.
Okay.
And that, mind you, that area is protected by Central Armed Forces, Police, CRPF and all. It is not falling under the domain of Ministry of Defense. It is Ministry of Home Affairs. There was a huge intelligence failure, security failure. And 1 year after that, where is the accountability? Who has been fixed? Where is the raw chief? Where are the raw people? Where are anti-RO people? Where are IB people? Where are these DG CRPF, DG BSF?
No, that
Ministry
is legitimate criticism.
All these people.
Colonel Rohit Chaudhry, those were questions asked a year ago. These are questions that are being asked today as well. They are legitimate questions. I want to ask you where this question of why do terror attacks happen only when the BJP is there? We have our doubts. The BJP uses terror for votes, etc. coming from. Almost implying that the BJP knew, and you know what you're saying as well, that the BJP and the government knew ki kuch gadbad hai, yet they closed their eyes to it, possibly deliberately. Is that the charge, sir? Because if that is a charge, it's a very dangerous charge, and it has come from some of your people.
Okay. Now, if Pahalgam kind of an incident happens and none of the political brass or the military police brass is taxed or court-martialed, there is a problem. Accountability issue. Now coming on to this, you have very rightly pointed out this issue. In 2019, when Pulwama happened, we lost 40 soldiers. We lost 300 kg RDX cane. From where it came, it is important to know. Where is the accountability? It is important to know.
Colonel Chaudhry, the opposition is right in asking for accountability. But please get to the crux of your argument. Are you arguing that the BJP government knew that this terror attack was going to take place and yet let it happen?
To the martyrs of Pahalgam.
Colonel Chaudhry, I've asked you a straight question based on what a lot of your colleagues are saying. I'm again asking you that because, you're making a debut on this show. Is it your charge? Right. Is it your charge that the BJP government had an inkling of what was about to happen in Pahalgam and yet did nothing? Is that your charge?
How does proof come into play? In 2019, Pulwama happened, after that Balakot happened, And thereafter, Modi ji went on to election rallies and asked for votes in the name of Pulwama martyrs. From the first time voters, he said that.
Then this is a very serious charge. देखिए आप फौजी हैं. I had expected you to give me a clear answer, लेकिन आप गोल गोल घुमा रहे हैं civilians की तरह. So I'm going to take this to a civilian. Tushar, have you managed to understand what exactly is the criticism of the Congress party? Look, this is what I understand, and I completely agree with the Congress when they speak about the fact that this was a possible intelligence failure. Of course it was. I don't think there is any doubt about that. That if terrorists, Pakistani terrorists, manage to sneak into your country, stay there for a while, hide in the jungles, and then come into Pahalgam, Baisaran, and shoot dead 26 unarmed civilians, then it is an intelligence failure. I don't think there is any debate over that. Absolutely no debate over that. My question is, the charge that the Congress is making is far more serious. It's not just intelligence failure or surrender.
Good evening, Shreya. You know, the problem with the Congress is it's so despicable in its approach to politics of the land. What they should term as intelligence failure, and rightfully so, they are terming it as intentional failure. That is where my problem is. Look, we had a terrorist attack. We lost innocent citizens. But the same Congress's Priyanka Gandhi on the floor of the parliament wasn't even willing to acknowledge the intentions of the terrorists. Why they were asking men to take their names, what they were trying to do in that, sorrow evening. She doesn't want to acknowledge that. For the Congress, they want to remember the accountability. Where is the accountability of Operation Sindoor? Talk about what happened during Operation Sindoor. During Operation Sindoor, all the social media clubs of the Congress were saying, oh, we want de-escalation, we want de-escalation. They were not willing to believe that we have bombed the terror camps. On the following night, they were not willing to believe that Pakistan is shooting missiles and drones at us. They were not willing to believe that our interceptors are working well. They were not willing to believe that no S-400 was harmed. They were not willing to believe that we took out multiple air bases in Pakistan from Skadi to Karachi. They were not willing to believe that we bombed Pakistan mainland for the first time in decades in a show of strength. They were not willing to believe that we bombed a nuclear neighbor and ensured a limited strike doctrine without escalating the conflict. So at the end of the day, we have to understand the Congress doesn't want to believe in anything. It doesn't want to believe in the response Indian government gave, because when they were in power, they couldn't engineer a response. Mr. Chaudhry here talks about accountability. What is the accountability of the Congress when it comes to responding to 2611? You hosted the entire Pakistan delegation in Mohali 2011. I was a school kid. I was there also for the game. What happened a year and a half later? You had bomb blasts in India. So where is your accountability? Where is your party's accountability? To sit here and say, oh, this is an intentional failure, and it's coming from someone who once donned the uniform, it's absolutely despicable, to say the least.
Colonel Chaudhry, I'll give you 10 seconds to respond.
Look, first of all, I would like to tell all the political analysts as well as the BJP, please mind your language whenever you are talking about a soldier and a retired soldier. That is one aspect. Second thing is, we are all defense analysts, all across all the channels. You can see that everybody is demanding accountability and wanting to know the intelligence failures.
Analyst on this show today, you are a Congress spokesperson. I think we need to be clear about that. And the point is, you cannot be, I mean, sensitivities count both ways. If the Prime Minister, if the Prime Minister is called a terrorist, then many people will say all gloves off. So sensitivity needs to be, accounted for on both sides. Yes, Tushar, go ahead. Then I'll
Mr. Chaudhry has a lot of problem with how people once in uniform were addressed. When he says it's an intentional failure, how many men in uniform is he character assassinating? How many men and women that serve the Indian Army, Indian Navy, Indian forces 24/7 is he character assassinating? So Mr. Chaudhry, if you feel very sensitive about how you are defined, be very careful about how you define others. Respect flows both ways, not one way.
I will talk only of facts and the correctness.